Team Liquid's turn to ban.
Welcome back, guys. Game number 2 here is ready for you. Vega Squadron against Team Liquid. Now, a couple of things to go over, because Team Liquid just lost game number 1 to Vega Squadron, and also Team Liquid have Heen standing in instead of Plata, so a couple of little things there that Liquid kind of have to step up and get themselves back into the rhythm of playing and try and bring this series back to even. My co-caster Moppax is joining me, and the draft this time a little bit different as Liquid are scared of that Mag Beastmaster.
Yeah, and that is pretty huge for them too, because this opens back up the support option. We know that's something that, you know, Phoenix and the Earth Spirit, probably two of the biggest ones, the IO even, there for Team Liquid, also from Vega Squadron though, and with the second pick, I love it, that's what I want to see, leave the IO in. Now look at this second pick, IO +1 for Vega Squadron. I don't know, it's, like, do you want to go for the Lycan though instead? I could also understand that.
Because Liquid are gonna Phoenix Lycan, right?
I would assume so.
They're gonna say, if you don't take Lycan, we'll take it ourselves. I mean, they are Radiant side, so you don't have that ease of access into the Roche pit though. But it's still a hero that they've liked to run regardless of what side of the river they're on. This is the dilemma that Vega Squadron are honestly in right now.
And the thing about Vega and most teams in general now is that IO has moved away from the whole pairing thing.
Yeah.
Like, we don't always see this, like, it's always going to be IO plus X hero, right? It's much more just about being that saving support that pairs up so nicely with all these tankier cores and the Dragon Knight, going into even just, like, the Lycan, right? Keeping these people alive and during the fights, so... Disruptor, another fantastic support that Team Liquid have loved, but also Vega Squadron, one of the first teams to really start bringing in, honestly, from Sioma. Like, they were one of the squads that people started to fear this hero in the first place, before he was picked.
You think back to ESL One New York, where Vega did, you know, very, very well, and they were picking, you know, they were picking their Wisp, their Disruptor, these kind of displacement heroes, not just for enemy heroes, but also for their own, jumping around a map and jumping in and out of team fights. Vega Squadron have always been, along with Empire, the kind of skirmishing lineups that love to play this back and forth Dota. And we even think back to the previous patch when, you know, Sniper, Bounty Hunter, Slardar were all kind of being played. We didn't see the combo, we didn't see the Wind Ranger Slardar combo, we didn't see the Sniper Bounty combo, getting the vision, getting the tracks, and having these kind of abilities to keep your fights going for extended, not just periods of time, but periods of space. You'd be able to get these long-range initiations off. Vega and Empire were these teams that really kind of pioneered that kind of style, while Liquid, they pioneered, or at least they've been pioneering their own style of play, right? You know, with Mind Control having this great off-lane rapport, having this Jirax support kind of roaming around and causing all kinds of havoc, while usually it's Matuma Man that sets the tempo of the game at kind of 15 minutes and starts battling through the rest of the enemies. But it's all about towers here for Team Liquid. That's kind of what they've, you know, strategized around, is taking towers, taking Roshan, and map control with map vision.
Yeah, it's snagging up that Slardar too. Like, it's something they've picked six straight. They've had Slardar. I mean, they picked it all the time at the major. For Mind Control specifically, moving off, which is kind of interesting, right? Maybe just because the Beastmaster obviously is a little bit harder to snag, but they were running that onto Kuro or Jirax, and Jirax was just taken in the jungle or something when they did happen to grab first support. Not the most common thing for them, but they've done it. It's interesting that, like, Darkseer just passed over between Mag and Mind Control that have always had some very solid Darkseers, so not really valuing the hero, not getting that 4-roll hero that maybe syncs up with them. And speaking of which, the Riki and the Bounty Hunter still left in the pool, as we're now going to be losing out on that Lycan and the Invoker a little bit earlier here, so that Darkseer will be removed. Not a big prize there. I think Vega Squadron would have just snagged it up.
Oh yeah, Riki.
Yeah.
Ricky's another hero, huh? Nice little roaming guy. When was the first time we kind of saw it? Was it Liquid picked it at Epicenter, then it kind of burst out onto the scene, right? Were there any times before that?
I mean, there was a couple. It was starting to sprout online, right around Epicenter. It was around the same time.
Yeah.
During some of those qualifiers, some of these qualifiers for Manila and Frankfurt, where it was kind of like, it was still like very novelty. It was like, well, Bounty's banned, and we'll just like 5th pick Riki. Pretty much what happened, right? It's like a support.
Complexity tried it with Z-Freak a few times, didn't they?
Yeah.
Like, Earth Spirit Bounty banned. We're gonna go for this roaming Riki, and yeah, Interesting pick. I'm not sure if they'll go for it here. I mean, he's pretty good with a smoke cloud for Vega up against Nature's Prophet and Phoenix, stopping the TPs and the dives and all that nonsense.
I think if you don't have the Lifestealer or the Darkseer, it's just not that strong, honestly. It's still good if you're a practice team with it, but it's not something they've run a lot. And this will probably be DK IO, I think. Yeah, that's what I would be predicting here. In fact, this draft looks fantastic once again from Vega Squadron. Question is, do Liquid want to take it, but they're running a stand-in, and we all know that IO is like one of the big heroes when it comes to the in situation, right? Thinking about like IO, like run him as a core, like are we worried about our communication? He's even on one of the supports for Heen in this situation, so it can be a little bit dicey.
Especially, this is even more interesting to me because game number one, you know, we talked about where players were going to go with Fanta being ill, Heen standing in. We were looking at maybe Heen goes mid. He played support in game number one, but with a Slark being picked up, that's a Matuma hero through and through, kind of indicating safe lane for him. The Jirax Phoenix, and then the Nature's Prophet off lane for mind control. We could see Kuroki or Heen go mid potentially here. And Kuroki was playing safe lane last game. Does this add an extra element of what the hell is going on for Vega Squadron in their draft as well? I mean, do you ignore Liquid at this point and say you do what you want and we will draft what we want? I mean, there's the Wisp that you called perfectly, calling draft since 2014, Moppax here, but doesn't get invited to any events, unfortunately.
It's okay, we can drop that for now. I don't know, like, how do, as Liquid, like, Phoenix decent against the IO +1. And you've already lost the Disruptor. I mean, we're Wyvern, honestly, of course, but we're assuming this will be more of like that Thor role kind of hero, right? And those heroes, besides maybe the Ricky, honestly, have a hard time dealing with the IO +1. Like the Night Stalkers and everything, they don't really punish it that hard. Position 1 heroes already been picked up with the Slark, so you don't have the option when you're thinking towards like the Weaver or the Clinks are the other options that come to mind. And now you've got to be dealing with the DK mid, and your DP you banned out in the first phase, so... are we getting like a Mech Viper here?
Oh, I really don't know. I really don't know where Liquid head with this. Slark, sitting these stats, he needs a decent amount of ramp up time. You know, he needs kind of 15 minutes to get Treads, Aquila, from the Blink or the Shadow Blade for him. Pretty decent against the Wisp, and then dives into the back end of things. But again, Liquid.
Because there's no reason not to grab their mid here, right? Like,
you know what the matchup is. It's just a question of. Like,
all you have to worry about is Vega gonna ban what we want?
Yeah, exactly.
So...
that is the only issue here, and it looks like they want to keep their hand a little bit more secretive. Lion is their 4th pick for themselves. Now, I don't know what's the perfect pick here for you for Liquid. We're assuming it's a mid lane hero last, yeah?
Yeah. I mean, but you never really know. I suppose we've seen some NP mids before. It's not the most ridiculous thing, but I would think safe to assume mid. You're against a DK and an IO. Can't really run like a Bristle. That was one of those ones we used to see, right? But
you think of the Razor? Is that going to be good enough here against them?
I mean, that is definitely a Liquid hero if there ever was a Liquid hero, right?
Too bad Fanta's not playing.
Yeah, exactly. Come down to being the issue. I don't think they run. I guess there's Timber, right?
It's always one of
Static
those...
Storm. Oh, bye Timber.
Well, I was going to argue that it's always one of those kind of player-specific heroes, right? But I guess if you're afraid of it...
So we just run Alk now? Is that the play?
Oh god. Please no. No Alchemists, thank you very much. I hate that hero. In my pubs, in the games I cast, all he does is acquire gold and run at people non-stop. It's fun to play sometimes, but it can get a little bit tedious. If you have Alchemist in every single one of your games for the entirety of the year. Liquid. Anti-Mage is the ban, expecting the Slardar off lane and the final safe lane hero from Vega to be something a little bit heavier hitting.
They want to get 5th picked again, right? Like just a hero that's so hard to track down, so difficult to deal with and let snowball out of control.
You know they're going to get brooded, right? They're going to get 5th
the Mag Brood.
Here, Mag Brood, yeah. I mean, they can, right? Slardar safe lane, DK mid.
Yeah,
Disrupt the Slardar, Wisp DK, Broodmother can be the 5th pick. They can honestly get done by a Brood, and they can get done hard by it as well. Liquid have to keep this in mind for their 5th and final hero. And honestly, I just don't know what to expect. Like a Pugner or a Warlock or some rando hero like that. A Queen of Pain wouldn't be too bad. honestly, here. Escape process, not too bad with the blink, but yeah, you're against like Disruptor with a Glimpse and a Static Storm. I think that's one of the biggest problems, right? If you go for a mobility hero mid, you're against Disruptor Slardar, so if you wanted like Ember or anything, oh yeah, alright. Okay, Moppax.
Yeah, I know. I just let you keep going.
I'm going home.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
You can just solo cast now for the rest of the day. I'm gonna change my train ticket and go to Frankfurt early. Alchemist for Team Liquid. Well. I wonder who's gonna be playing that though.
What do you think about just a Sven? More fizzle, like just throw the slider in the off lane, Sven up top. Yeah, you don't have to run him with the guy if you don't have to, but maybe the slider would have too much trouble down bottom, and they might have to go for some more traditional. I feel like when I'm thinking about that amplified damage, it's so good.
Spec isn't picked too often nowadays. There's
well,
Weaver
Spectre is actually really good with the Ion. It had come to mind, but I guess it's kind of hard to punish off, right? Like with the Phoenix and the Lion.
Oh yeah, the only reason I'm hesitant is because it's not been a popular hero recently. I mean, it's a good pick hero, as well as Weaver I feel is a decent pick. Lion is the only one that can really keep tabs on you. Weaver's good in the 1v1 against Nature's Prophet if your supports want to try and roam a little bit as well. Well, it's going to be really looked towards the Juggernaut. Okay, so there's even more physical damage to get into that out damage from the Slardar. Good in lane against Nature's Prophet. He's also got the spin. That's the added value of the Juggernaut, right? Spin against the Supernova. Yeah,
with Lifesteal being so popular, you kind of forget that it was the big counter when the hero was first burst on the scene. Just so many Juggernauts being banned every time we got those early Phoenix picks. They will have to contest up against that, and in general, they have really great answers to that egg, honestly, right? Like, Disruptor tends to be in the back line, so you can at least get off a couple right-clicks onto that egg, and then you get the attack speed boost from Solo, and then the spin on top of that as well. Really solid. So once again, a lot of pressure in this mid lane, right? Creating that space for a Radiance mid.
Alchemist, Nature's Prophet, and Slark. This is a greedy old lineup from Team Liquid. It feels that they need a lot of itemization to get themselves actually going, and it's Kuroki on the out. Okay, and goes from playing some pretty hard 5 support, rolls up into basically the hardest farmer in the game. You get yourself going like that way. Smoke out here already from the Dire side, and a TP forward again. Like you're saying, this warding movement from Xioma, not identical to game number 1, a little bit different. Further off to the side as he does go deeper into the jungle.
This is a really nice anti-alchemist ward.
Oh yeah. I thought he was going to place it up on top of the cliff just to give vision, but this blocks up the camp and stops the stacks coming for Kuroki.
That's another really important thing we didn't mention in this Juggernaut pick too. It's the fact that he tests stacks. It's basically Juggernaut and Gyrocopter that teams are looking towards in these situations where like that. And you're right. Like typically that ward actually is placed on the high ground up against Alchemist, because these days it's not so much about actually blocking. You know they're going to stack anyway, so why waste an observer to block a camp? The observer to give yourselves vision and know when you're actually going to be contested, because if the vision's here, it just means the stacks are forced over here, and now that is a much easier place to engage in, and that could be what Vega Squadron are considering. So around like the 5-minute mark, you'll probably see a secondary ward come in, they'll get in here, and they'll have these smoke and TPs ready to come into that mid lane and invade into that jungle and take down these stacks, and mostly take down the Alchemist as he tries to do them, because the Jug and Gyro are just like so solid at those levels for doing.
Vega Squadron contributing massively to global warming here, destroying trees for no reason, quelling blading through the trees, and they look for mind control. When he boosts up at level 1, he'll get stunned by no one, and now with the kinetic field down, mind control, he is trapped in place. And first blood goes the way of Vega. It looks like he managed to deny the bounty room though, did he? Alchemist got the bottom one, but who took the top one?
Yeah, it does look like it was denied. So there you go, slight win, right? Pyrrhic victory. Right here, but this mid lane is just gonna be awful. Like, Kuro, he's gone for the richer build in some ways, actually grabbing a full set of though, so he doesn't have that nice like 300 gold for not going for the poor man's shield. You can go into that soul ring a little bit earlier. To wait a bit, and Heen trying to eye out that courier, but they are too wise inside of Vega as they waltz that thing around with the early bottle.
Yeah, Solo needs that. He brought some tangos out to himself as well as that TP scroll. They do need that bottle regen to give no one a better time here, but also maybe to transition down towards bottom. Try and help the Slardar once he leaves that jungle. Looking at Mag right now, he's He's taken Swindlemelon's advice to heart. If you can't go to lane, you buy an Iron Talent and you stay in the bloody jungle. You do not leave until you have your items and your levels. So Heen returns down towards bottom, but it's just a case of getting your experience on these supports as well. Stack and pull, keep the kind of lane equilibrium flowing. You do want to chip away at this tier 1 a little bit, but you don't want to give too much experience to Mag if he wants to like TP to lane. It's all about these little timings that you've got to actually take into account.
Yeah, and it's interesting just how much pressure, like how much you want on when you don't have vision or a block on this camp too, because a lot of the times you'll see this camp just get blocked out or at least have a war over it, and that allows you to just fully abuse that bottom tower, take it down as soon as you'd like, and you can always just like adjust the lane in accordance as to where that offlaner's moving, but they have a very good idea as to where Mag is, but for them he is in no way to contest or observe any sort of that bottom lane. And this is Slider Iron Town, right? Like, this is the one negative thing about the Zero, is that he just doesn't do it as fast as the Beastmaster or the Dark Zero or the Tide Hunter, right? Really suffers, and now, fortunately, he gets the Satyr camp. Great one for Slider.
Yeah, with that crush, good physical damage back onto them. Now, how are the other lanes actually... What just happened there? Nature's Prophet apparently TP'd in towards mid, sniped the Courier, and the Dire, they are without it for some time now. Doesn't look like there was anything on it. It was probably delivering another set of tangos to the Dragon Knight, at least for that moment in time, but no Courier, no bottle throwing, none of that nonsense out there.
Yeah, and that's big, right? Because Solo definitely wants to be either controlling runes or using that Courier to make sure that he's always got that bottle going. The keep Bam to try and contest the Alchemist and hidden. It's going to be helping out with Croaky Lot. Just get that Soul Ring delivered. Some Alchemists still opting towards the bottle as well. It kind of depends as to how much help you'll get at the runes, right? Like, if you can always guarantee it's going to be filled, then it's worth it, but...
Just
harass the DK, he might need it.
Yeah, that's right. Like, if you know that you're going to get at least some of the runes, you go for the bottle, but the Soul Ring is just so much easier, not just for spamming out on lane, harassing your opponents with Acid Spray, but especially on Radiant's side. We've seen Ferrari do this a hell of a lot. The Ancients and the large camp over to the west here,
oh yeah,
you can actually cut through these trees, and you can not just farm both at the same time with one Acid Spray across the two of them, but you can allow them to stack up multiple times as well, if you time it right. And just stand outside of the spawn boxes of them over to this area here, and cut through these trees, and you farm up all the camps, and you get lots of gold, and Alchemist is happy. We'll see if Kuroki goes that way, because of course you do need the space and time to be able to do that as well. You can't have your tier 1s being knocked down
Look at Mag
too early on. Yeah,
I got this ward.
Clocked on to what he's up to.
Oh no! If only they played it a little bit cooler with no one almost,
Are they going to catch him?
The tense moment here.
There's going to be no rune for Kuro. The regen snagged there by Mag. Double rune take by Vega as they get the bounty up at the top as well, do they? No, they don't. Nature's Prophet. Mind control. One step ahead of his opponents.
Still important that it doesn't go to Kuro though. Like, in the end, that's what really matters.
Absolutely. How's Juggernaut doing up at top lane? 34 for 12, denying like a madman. Of course he doesn't need to. Nature's Prophet has been in his lane. Slardar has not been in his lane. He's been in the jungle. Oh, Slark has not needed to deny quite as many times. Now he's picked himself up a Quelling Blade, and we're seeing this a fair amount recently of like Iron Talon Slark being the kind of quicker and easier Midas, right? Yeah, it's a third of the price. It gives you some of the farming capability. It obviously doesn't give you the experience boost and the kind of guaranteed gold that you get from it. But it does allow you to clear through waves a little bit faster and then dip back into the jungle to give your support a little bit of time on lane if they need to.
Yeah, and just so crucial for the overall playstyle of Liquid. Just a team that have really put that emphasis on supports. I'm always expecting these Quelling Blades and Iron Talons for them. No one is just feeling invincible with just a single point in the Dragon Blood. And dip his nose in there, scout out, see if there's any stacks going on, see what's, kicking down here. But the stacks, they're not too ridiculous over there. Their ward did work. Have the stack in the jungle. Plan has been achieved here from Vega Squadron, but we are missing the vision and holding like 4 heroes, right? Always here. It can be very difficult to test. So they will not be successful in their mission. The top lane, that's the best. Tango not even required.
Oh, only Slash will clear up the Nature's Prophet, and Sioma didn't even use the glimpse either. Hiroki getting closer to that armlet, and he's going to have it in very good timing actually here. 40 last hits, but he's going to have his armlet by, what, 6.5 minutes or so if he continues at this rate.
Oh, there's
The
their
glimpse
glimpse
back,
mid.
they're looking for Jirax, and with a stun into him. He can't get himself away, but the turnaround is here from a man. There's Breeze fire across him. Yama the Slayer dropping very low. The Shadow Dance is there. Turn around onto no one as well. But where's the stun? Where's the control? Hina's dropped and there's nothing left to give. Solo, well, he'll try and forfeit his life and get the DK out of here. But a 2 for 2, supports for supports. It's an interesting brawl towards the middle lane. It's given Slardar some time to breathe at bottom. It's forced the rotation of the Slark off that safe lane as well. So I think, all in all, it works out better for Vega.
Yeah, the only thing we'd be concerned about would be the fact of how much gold just got dumped onto that Slark and how much earlier he can start to get active, right? Like, just every single minute that Shadow Blade gets pushed forward can always be very dangerous, especially for someone like this Disruptor, who you gotta imagine is just down once again. We saw him to Jerax last game, where he was just run at every single team fight, trying to force the guy in Greaves as fast as possible, but it's telling these Siomas. He's getting the Sunray treatment, trying to keep him alive. Not enough.
Not enough indeed. Now, what are we looking at here? Armlet's done, 7 minutes. Yeah, that's like standard timing for your Alchemist, pretty much, without any deaths, a couple of assists. That's some good stuff from Kuro. Shadow Amulet though from a Tumberman. He is sneakily waiting and biding his time for the jump onto Solo. He's forced to pop his ultimate though and doesn't get the kill onto the Wisp as Slardar manages to keep tabs on the Slark. The Shadow Amulet. It's sneaky, it's nifty, but it didn't get them or secure them a kill.
That's before treads too. I guess maybe just having the gold really wanted to get it done here. Kind of interesting. He's still got the attack speed, I suppose, so all in all, just missing it on those stats.
Straight up Shadowblade Rush. Now up on the top lane, looks like FN is going for the sneak through. His Omni Slash is ready. There we go, phase moves forward and Microsoft. A little bit of time to react in this spin. Looks like it'll secure them the kill on the Nature's Prophet. Well, the Breeze Fire definitely will. That's some simple stuff from Vega Squadron. 2 to 6, 8 minutes in, a kill a minute, but the majority of them going to this dire squad at this point. They're getting their level 6 and Disruptor soon. The Wisp does not have Relocate just yet. That's why he's farming in the jungle, trying to get himself to that point where he can move his teammates around the map.
Crow just got a bounty rune though, so that's like GG, isn't it? And don't we just call it here? 1,000 gold out of nowhere here. 8.5 minutes in, trying to build into that Radiance. He's certainly going to have it at a much better timing than our Lone Druid last game. Not going to be surprised being on the Alchemist, but they are having a harder time punishing it from the side of Vega. I'm not feeling overall comfortable with how they've handled the Alchemist. Like, early on, the block off was good, but without actually rotating your position one hero in here, there's just no real threat for Kuro. Like, you gotta kill this guy, man. Gotta bring it down. And they attempted it, but getting spotted out by Matamba Man puts a real burden on to once again come back into this jungle. So solid work by the side of Liquid, understanding what they're attempting to do and how they're going to try to hold this down. And although they didn't have the best stacks going for Liquid, it doesn't really matter if they can't kill your Alp, right? He just moves from one camp to the other.
This net of Vega is kind of closing in though. You know, you look at these tier 1s mid and bottom, you know they're going to get taken down soon. And then the net becomes even deeper here for Liquid as their farming area gets cut in half and in half again. Keen on this Lion, level 4. Not able to stand his ground around this tier 1, and here comes another tower down. And honestly, this is so reminiscent of how CDEC played at TI5, right? They would push tier 1, like maybe not as early or as aggressive or as kind of premeditated, but they'd push tier 1, they'd always do the kind of smoke through to tier 1 mid as Kuroki stunned into the storm as well. Held in place for that spin to come out, and Kuroki drops the Supernova, gonna get right click down as well. Jirax might just die and will. Even with the man coming back in, he's flipped away, but FN drops before. The Slark is sent back to his own lane, but Mind Control is TP'd into the back end, expecting the fight to continue. The trouble is, his team are dead. And he has no one left to save him. No one can hear you scream in the jungle. And Solo, well, he's tanking up tower shots here, my friend, but no one charges forward. A great kinetic field to give the vision as well, as the Dragon Knight clears up another and looks for the tier 1 on top of all that juicy gold they get from kills.
Yeah, everything sort of planned. I mean, yeah, maybe they're not invading to that jungle. You got a Dragon Knight, so they are still able to pressure that tower, and they have to force Kuroki back in there. Like, he wants to make sure he's always, oh no, the glimpse back, the worst. I gotta hate that.
That is a tilt moment.
That is right there. Yeah, not clear thinking there, and well, not knowing if Sioma's even still hanging around there. His arcane boots, but they don't let up on the pressure. Pretty obvious that Vega are certainly on the clock this one. Want to fun pushing and going, but they were certainly able to achieve that in the last game. And this time it's going to be easier. They don't have someone like no one on that Tinker that is just kind of doing his thing on the sides. Like, yeah, Jug takes a little bit of time to come online, but can build right into this Battle Fury and join fights a little bit easier than a Tinker can before those big items.
Yeah, back to my point about Vega, the kind of tier 1 take, the swipe into tier 1 here. If they had got this tower, they would likely have full control of this Radiant jungle as well, but Liquid have managed to hold on. Honestly, it's huge. Not losing that tier 1 tower mid, it may not seem like a big thing, but it is absolutely huge in the dynamics of this game. The fact that Vega don't have wards here. They don't have any vision in the Radiant jungle, so farming is free now for Liquid in here, where they do have vision actually watching, as well as Jirax seeing who's coming into this area.
It won't be for long though, I don't think, because with how weak this is in the mid lane, honestly, I'm surprised that Vega aren't just going bot. Well, they have actually rotated down FN, so maybe they are just going to start bottom lane. Already, they're actually grouping up in mid, Matamaman with Shreds and the Shadow Blade. Relocate top on the mind control.
Oh, hey, no one cut the trees, can't get there. Oh, Quelling Blade. And now the relocate back in. Wait, hang on a second. Supernova, Slardar's dead. Is going to land on to Solo. The glimpse back. And Solo keeps himself alive. While Mag was caught and picked towards the mid lane. They tried to kill Mind Control top, but they left the DK up there. And that's Dragon Form, relocate, and Slardar's life. All given up for nothing in exchange. And that's big for Liquid. 7,200 net worth on your Alchemist now, looking towards that relic pretty soon.
Oh, mid lane. Man now back on top of Sioma.
Oh dear. He does get sent back a little bit closer to the tier 1, and Jirax dive back over the ridge to safety. Little man is full HP as well, no one. This Vega side have gone from, pumping on all cylinders to, choking a little bit here.
Yeah, and every single kill so important. Just trying to get this Midas up for Jirax. They're trying to get towards a Blink Dagger for Heen. And these big items on the supports, it's not just the Radiance they're working towards, right, for Kuro. Secondary items, the importance that Liquid puts on their supports to create, games for them, honestly. How many games has Jirax just, pulled out of thin air, be it on, Alina, or a Tux, or his Earth Spirit? Get work done all the time.
He does do some interesting stuff on those heroes for sure, but Vega will continue the 5-man as they group up towards the bottom lane. Get that blink up onto Mag, that initiation tool they need so much, while Mind Control, Drum's phase, keeps on his split pushing game towards the top, and you're just trying to drag Vega around and split up as much as you can so they don't have this death wall kind of lineup towards the mid. Towards the mid game onto these tier 2s. Kuroki's so close to this Radiant.
Oh, where are we going?
Top lane going again. Up on top again, of course. Sprout, now blink back from no one. A debut of the blink into the armlet, and Mind Control needs one more punch to kill him. The orb, no ball out from Solo will secure that, and they'll take the DK down towards bottom again. So they kill the split pusher. They remove that threat that's vital for Liquid's longevity in this game, and they'll probably head into the Roche pit, honestly.
Yeah, I don't see why not. I mean, they can start at least posture around there. Wouldn't mind seeing some vision folk down the bottom lane, but it looks like they might need help out FN. They are lurking up here with Liquid to put down the dive side jungle.
Oh, he doesn't get the spin off, and he's just gonna get stunned into oblivion. Heen and Jirax need to make a hasty retreat. The TP from Heen is there, they can't catch Jirax. Yes, they can. Vega, he's being caught while Matamaman TPs himself away. Oh, no, there's a stun. They've actually caught him fast. He's held in place, and Vega, they turn it around. Somehow, split-second stuns and disables coming out of the Slardar on the DK to stop these Liquid heroes from escaping.
Yeah, maybe a little bit of greed there as he opts for the kill. They're hoping that Matamaman can push the envelope a little bit there, but he does get punished for it. And space created, I suppose. That Radiance now up, and it begins. The worry is, you've seen how well they've dealt with Mind Control overall with these relocates, and the same thing can happen to Kurok, but they do need his vision actually into the jungle. That is something that they've been struggling with. It's something Liquid's been doing a really fantastic job of. They've not only had observers, but they've had a lot of sentries going down throughout their own jungle, so spotting out these wards, making sure they're disabling them, keeping an eye on who's coming into these lanes, into these jungles with how many wards. One thing, if you watch Kuro, actually, which might be a little bit harder because he's playing mid, then again, he's actually only attacking jungle creeps. Fantastic for him, but this guy, you watch his player perspective, someone disappears in the fog for like half a second, he will recheck them. Like he's always keeping an eye on these wards to know if like a courier delivered or anything along those lines, and to try and gain some sort of knowledge as to where they're placing their vision and from there, like what objectives are they after.
He is the omniscient one. He knows all, he sees all. We'll see what Vega are up to right now as well, as this Radiant Observer Board gives some good indications that Roshan is going to be the name of the game for them in the coming minutes or so, because mid lane push, bot lane push, this does indicate that Radiant Jungle belongs to Vega now, while it's the mirror effect. Liquid move into the dire jungle, and we see this all too often. I know that they're not safe over towards their own side of the map, so they just push across into the enemy side. Make use of these jungle camps. It's just, there's no downtime now. That's one of the best things about Dota nowadays, is that there's no like wasted time idling around like, hey, we can gank this guy, we can't gank him, he moved back a little bit, oh look, we can get, oh no, we failed, we didn't gank him. It's constantly farming, looking for every little improvement you can, getting little jungle camps, farming a lane, taking, you know, one creep, killing one creep is so much better than 3 years ago when you'd have a, you know, roaming hero doing nothing for 5 minutes. And Jirax, well, he'll be doing nothing for 30 seconds as he does drop for the stuns coming out of Vega. And the Echo Saber now for Slug. Shadowblade Shreds as well, hunting for someone, but he's hunting into a pack of demons here. Vega Squadron. After they've relocated back towards the roast pit, so it's only the Slardar available up at top lane.
Unfortunately for Liquid, he is the one that's going to speed up this taking, though. So it might mean that they have enough time to potentially take down this tier 2 tower. But it's taken some time in the pit, gotten down to about half. Hopefully that medallion is there to help out from solo.
Oh, it should be Roshan for them. There is no contest here from Liquid, and Mag is even setting up for a fight at top lane. They're keeping the Dragon Knight aggressively, so the tier 2 doesn't even fall. The Summerman, where are you going? Apparently going nowhere. As Matu sticks around on his top lane. Now Kuroki on this Alchemist. Boot to travel, Radiant Soaring Armlet. Next item.
Is it a mystery?
Well, no. The thing is, I've seen a couple of players deviate away from the norm. I've seen some players go for Octarine before Manta. I've seen some players go for, like, even a Blade Mail at this point. I've seen a Vitality boost into the Yasha, into Octarine, then back into Manta. This is the point where we see players kind of min-maxing and feeling out the game as to what they need. And I'm just wondering if, you know, Kuroki feels he needs a little bit more HP and he goes for the Vip booster now, if he, you know, thinks about the armor he needs and gets the Yasha. It's
I do like the
one to
casual.
decide.
He's still holding a TP roll, like. But getting the Yasha as well, your Culling Blade, of course, never wanting to drop that efficiency is always going to be an option there for them. So it'll be Vega want to use this Aegis. If you can see they have done a really great job. Like that ward gets placed and it looks like it's going to survive its full duration inside Dark Side jungle, and that's really allowed them to just pressure this top lane as heavily as can. Missing their Beastmaster, who just lingers around the entire time. It's been mind control kind of getting relocated on time and time again from the side of Vega Squadron, so it's mostly been like the Shadow Blade from a Tumman line to control that up, but they have been successful. KB now out for no one though, so this is really the time for them. Any tier 2, like they should just be able to snag up, be it that top or that mid, and I don't know how much time do they have left there, Gareth. I think they could go high ground. Let's do it. I mean, let's just run down mid and see what happens.
Yeah, they've got 3 minutes on Aegis. There's no reason not to kind of go in on this one. Maybe not necessarily high ground, but definitely just kind of...
I mean, it's only 20 minutes, I guess, so we can't get too excited.
Yeah, respawn timers are pretty low at this point. Just go kind of balls to the wall. Oh, Slark, he saw them. He knows the smoke is here. The blink stun not available. No one doesn't catch on to anything. They've got Kuroki, though. The Alchemist dragged back into the storm, and yep, he is obliterated. Destroyed with, what, 4 ultimates thrown onto him? 5? 5 ultis, you know? Yeah, it's no big deal. Just kill the Alchemist.
I'll take it. I think we're alright with that, right? I mean, if you're Vega Squadron, that's all that matters. That Manta style's even almost done here. Just about 200 gold for FN.
They saw the like Radiant saw that courier, and I think Matu was thinking about sniping it potentially, but a little bit too deep for his liking, as the Midas from Jirax is starting to pay off. Gets him up to level 11
I think
now
you're
at
right.
this point.
He wants it.
Oh, is he still going for it? Oh, you sneaky little bastard. Matu, no, he's not going to find it. Sprints away. Courier, safety. To safety. Over to the Juggernaut and delivers the Manta style. And we've got the majority of our big items now in packs on Vega. There's nothing really necessary for them left. Oh, are they waiting for the perfect moment to strike? Are they just going to look for tier 2s? Or are they scared of something Liquid has?
I mean, what is there to be afraid of, honestly? Like, level 2 in the Supernova? The Blink Dagger from Heen is definitely something to be worried about. You need to make sure they do have that proper positioning. You certainly want Solo kind of lurking in the background. You don't want him straight up front. But these raindrops, honestly, have kind of made a big difference this game. Like, I just find those little blue numbers popping up. No one has now lost his, and the full charge he's kind of filled out his inventory here. But having these squishier support's very crucial. Might be a smoke play in the back lines here. Looks like they're just gonna run on up here. Sioma? I don't know about this though.
Oh, buddy, he didn't expect the party to arrive. Finger of death into death. And now the relocate in as FN looks for the turns to spin back onto he. No, the line is being focused down, but Mathilman there's the Supernova down on the head, and no one forced to try and turn a fight, stand his ground, but he cannot do it. He's 1 versus 4, and Vega forced to back out and retreat to the TP. Looks like it'll complete. But with no Slardar there, and with an interesting initiation from the Disruptor onto the Alchemist, Liquid perfect annihilation and execution of that defense.
I think they were totally visionless for that as well, right? Like, I don't think an observer expired or anything like that, so kind of an awkward fight even for Liquid to take, right? Like, not really one of the best places for you, but just pretty much the way to describe it there, that awkward initiation. I'm just not sure exactly where everyone was, what he's doing, where's his buddies at, but they were well on their way there from the side of Liquid, and I'm gonna tell him, man, he'll be aware that his travels inside the Dire Jungle are no longer going to be totally unknown here, as he does pass underneath a ward, so well known to his team. They went over to the sports like, yo guys, we're here. Can we do something about this? I really like my free reign in this Dire side jungle here. I'm trying to get some farm going. FN tries to find a kill down bomb with that Blink Omni, but Jerax is out.
Yep, Liquid are out. Aegis is also out. FN doesn't have that fallback plan anymore. You can just expect Vega now to wait for the next Roshan and make sure they secure that before really doing too much else. The tier 2 mid, not the most important of towers at this point. No, it's nice to kind of have that bridge between lanes if you want to try and push one lane and just move over to the next one, then the next one. It's good to have all the tier 2s down, of course. Not really necessary if you want to just try and chip away at one lane and gain yourself a little bit of an advantage. Can think about going that direction if you want as Vega. And Mind Control, what do you think about this Silver Edge over on Nature's Prophet?
That's a little bit interesting, right? I mean, it kind of makes sense against the Dragon Knight, but just the overall stats from it, right? About the addition of the reduction of their damage too can be pretty handy, but here, he's been running this in trouble with these relocates. He knows he's a decent person to focus down in the middle of these fights as well. So, man, now running after no one. He wastes
no
BKB.
BKBs, and Mag will crush up Mathilman. Meanwhile, though, down at bottom lane, tier 3 down to half health as the Juggernaut and Wisp make short work of the tower's HP. Mind Control trying his hardest to keep this map balanced at least a little bit, but Mag is on defense duty and will be able to hold this one out with his Midas Shadow Blade.
More Shadow Blades, man. Like, geez, no Force Staff this game. I guess he wants to add a little bit more damage. Perhaps worried about their overall commitment into that Alchemist. Like, want him obviously regenning up as you're all trying to bash on top of him as the rest of Liquid is able to force you down. So, much damage as possible. Still some more maneuverability, but considering how much Liquid have been on this Vision game, I wouldn't be surprised if they head to Gem soon. I'm kind of surprised to see it.
And I guess when Liquid are trying to play this kind of split and, basically the bait and switch game where they pretend to fight somewhere and then they go and split push somewhere else, having these Shadow Blades is amazing at hiding your numbers, hiding how many heroes you have when you're engaging into a fight, or even hiding yourself when you're trying to snipe out a Nature's Prophet when you're split pushing. There's just element of surprise of Vega available for them. All this Mag Slardar.
I'll tell you what a surprise. Ben heading in towards that BKB, not the most common item. Juggernauts, of course, that natural spin and the Blade Fury coming out there, but what a great timing to go for it. I mean, looking into this last Roche, to add that Aegis, add that BKB, and then the AC coming out from our Dragon Knight as well. Like, they're just going to have a great combination of items here. finally try and force us and drive this one home before the Alchemist reaches the complete out of control as he has gone for that Octarine to the Yasha, and we can all just assume that Manta's up next.
Yep, absolutely. Oh, relocate forward in the blink from Juggernaut, hunting for the Phoenix. Jirax does not get himself away. The dive was on cooldown and didn't want to pop his supernova for that one, but the blink crush. Oh, Mag is hunting, but he's not going to catch. Close. So no cigar. What we were just looking at, the Roshan. Very fast spawn. About 16 seconds off the fastest spawn there for Roshan, but no one is getting vision of it just yet. I think Liquid might be the first to pop their heads in and say, hey, the big man's up. They're not going to be the first team to try and take it down though. Not the fastest roche-taking lineup compared to Vega anyway.
The fact that mind control has just been up top though, time and time again, is making me here, because it's not allowing Vega to just run down bottom and do their thing. You have to at least push that out first. But you can see he might have to make his way back there.
Oh, this DD rune is so tasty, but no one's taking it. The man could have gone and sniped that one out, but it might be Vega that pick it up and head into the Roche pit.
Yeah, mind control just TPing back up to do his thing, so they'll see the trance, they'll be aware that he's up there. And it's time to head on in. There's our Solar Crest now, fully upgraded for solo, so a little more minus armor. So Mag does a little bit of scouting run here. Sentry, Sentry, Observer. Oh, I think they spotted him. I do believe
they do. They know he's there, dude. They know he's there. He's not there anymore. Liquid with the vision game. Get the one up over on Vega and FN to TP himself away from danger.
Oh, right into danger. At least for mind control.
Oh,
easily eliminated.
Well, get the Wisp on the back end though. Solo will lose his life for that. Liquid are getting the slightly better trades. Like very, very slightly better trades. They're getting like an extra support, they're getting a bit of farming time when they trade 1-for-1. But it just feels like Liquid are battling against the tide of aggression here from Vega, but do you think Vega has a period of time where the tide kind of ebbs and they don't have the strength anymore to keep on pushing?
It comes into how much control I feel like they can get over this jungle. I mean, have not, in this whole game really, despite taking down these towers, I've never really felt like this belonged to Vega when you certainly feel like it should have, you know? Dealing with an Alchemist, you know what he needs to do and what he wants to do, but so just, this is why I was concerned about the Shadow Blade in the first place. I mean, you just saw it, right? They had their own ward over here, they saw some other heroes and they're like, they're all standing here, I wonder where that Shadow Blade Slider is, so he just throws down the Observer and the Sentry and immediately obliterated. Like, they're putting all these resources into these supports to secure up this jungle, and it is working, but if Vega can't ever stop that, then what are they really gaining from all these towers being down, right? You're not getting this big Poco play that you're looking at. Liquid are just spiraling higher and higher on that net worth graph.
Huh? It's getting out of control at this point. Alchemist is getting close to 6 slotted. Experience difference is not much in it. This Roshan, this Aegis, it has to accomplish something here for Vega. They can't keep dilly-dallying around and not getting anything done. It's just, watching toddlers play football, going back and forth with no real direction, no real goal. They kind of know, right, we've got to put this ball in between the two posts in the back of the net, but how do we get it to the net? How do we actually get from point A, where we are now, to point B, which is ending this game? It's a difficult road. Liquid, it feels they have to slip up or cause some kind of...
Team Eber himself.
True.
That was a fast tower.
Double
fires.
Double damage plus AC definitely helps against buildings.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Where are they going now, though? Relocate?
What?
They
scanned there and it was red. Did he just? He must have just TP'd out. I wasn't.
No, MC's TP is off cooldown. Wait, who was it? Who was there?
I don't know, but I looked at the scan and it was red. Maybe it was an illusion from Alchemist.
Weird. I thought they were going for MC, but he was hiding way back behind the trees up to the north.
Oh, I'm gonna have to take a look at that one later. It must have been an illusion, because that's the only other thing that triggered it, and no one has their TP off cooldown, so there's no other option. Alright. Dota 2.
Tier 2
look at their own tower.
Bottom lane though, MC Ah, damage. Mag and FN combine up perfectly to kill him off. He's got his Maelstrom done, but that's now your pressure hero going. Like every time they kill Nature's Prophet, it's like killing off that Tinker. You're killing off one of these avenues of pressure that Liquid have.
Yeah, but Mind Control is actually keeping his net worth really low, right? 0-7 and 2. Just make sure he doesn't feed away too much every single time. Is that what this is? No, he's in a very hard spot, right? Like, I think some teams avoiding this early Nature's Prophet pick because we have seen teams get like better and better punishing, especially with the Io still in the pool, right?
Yeah.
Like,
you're gonna get
was one of the best friends of the Nature's Prophet, but leaving that in for someone like Vega, like, you know they're gonna be jumping all over my entire game.
Right, we do have new shiny overlays and stuff that don't block any of the status buffs and stuff like that, so yeah, we'll actually add them in. I'll be actually looking good. Excellent.
They got an overlay, they managed to make you look good?
No, it doesn't make me look. It doesn't make me look good.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say that would be like really expensive.
Physically impossible.
Yeah.
To make me look good. Not just expensive, but actually there is no cure for Gareth. You cannot. You just can't do anything about it. You know, it's done.
Is it contagious?
I was born, and it's like, right, game over. He's done for. He's called Gareth. There's no way he's escaping. Just like with Summerman, there's no way he's escaping, even with a extra relocate in from DK and Wisp. Not necessary, but piling on the heroes just in case.
Man, things are looking for Vega though. They're getting that pressure that they needed. That tier 2 in the mid. You gotta imagine though, they still wanted maybe a little bit more out of this Aegis to an end soon. Oh, Mind Control once again. I can't catch a break. And he's just like, I don't think I can help you. I'm just gonna TP help.
I cannot do anything to stop them. I mean, can't do anything to stop them pushing low ground or high ground either. From the low ground, Slark and Nature's Prophet both dead for 40 seconds plus. And FN on this high ground. How do you push him back? Kuroki goes in and thwacks him a couple of times with the big old sword he's got. The tier 3 is still standing somehow. But of course the Dragon Knight has yet to arrive. His dragon form is popped fresh and new right here. Jumps forward, stuns up an illusion, and looks to hit the tower. He realizes his mistake. And we'll tick over on that tier 3. Vega Squadron wants to take their first lane of racks at 33 minutes. The glyph is there. This will buy enough time for the Slark to come back into the play list. And now Aghanim's rush for Jirax. I mean, it adds a couple of hits in onto that, but FN blink aggressively into Kuroki. Still 30 seconds for that Omni Splash from Tumman. Shreds into no one. They comes back. Kuroki sent back. No one. Drops low. Relocate. Saves him back again. They've kept him alive. The DK. He's out of danger and out of dodge. But Kuroki, they're not done. They want to try and catch someone. They don't have the vision up on the high ground though, and they won't be able to chase any further. As Vega will only lose their Wisp.
Yeah, and I really like this too. I feel like Slider and as well as the Juggernaut, who's also purchased that Blink Dagger, I almost feel like a lot of teams would have considered going right back in there. Waiting up on that high ground with those two trying to jump back in with the Dragon Knight, but you just don't have anything to gain, right? It's the melee's down, it's only ranged racks, just chill out, don't offer anything back to like lost your Isle, that's fine. Just try and keep this train, this momentum rolling, because every single, you can't give anything over to an Alchemist side, because things once again can be out of control. It's only one lane of racks, it's only one building of racks, even, and this is Radiance, Manta, Octarine.
Where does he go next? Start selling all his items. Kuro, start selling everything, start buying Aghanims for everyone. Kinda weird. Vega seem timid though. Back behind their tier 3s, not leaving their base until now. For a second, they want to clear out this wave. I do realise, of course, that bottom lane is pushing in their favour actually towards this bottom racks down here where the range barracks is on 2/3 of its health. And you're always scared, right, as Liquid of that relocate play. If that bottom lane reaches your barracks, a DK relocating in with Dragon Form, that's the end of your lane. That's potentially, him rotating up towards the mid lane, getting some damage onto tier 3. So it's always like a game of catch up here for Mind Control, moving from lane to lane and rebuffing. Kind of negotiating with the lanes, like, hey, you push this one, I'll push this one. But at some point, that's going to snap, and the bend but do not break attitude of Liquid, it's going to get smoke ganked. You know, you're going to get one smoke gank onto you, you're going to get one relocate onto Nature's Prophet, and then again, that pressure play, it dissipates. And then Liquid are on the back foot even further.
Yeah, it seems like Vega are even trying to just make sure there's no way they can blow this sort of situation, because they're just waiting for not even the smoke gank, but just the relocate. Like, the single heroes out there, if they can spot like where numerous heroes are on the side of Liquid, who by the way they're doing a good job of thanks to that gem, just sure that you don't see 4 heroes here and then just mind control all alone down bottom. Question: if they had a scan right now where they scan that and we're able to punish mind control right now, thankfully he'll head back to the fountains. That won't be the case.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Liquid, Radiant used to scan, they do miss. Tense moments. This feels like one of these last big chances for Liquid, and did they blow it as they start to approach the base?
Oh man. They did the long con. They tried the super far wrap. But instead it's going to be a glimpse. Alchemist back into the dire jungle, and the Commerzbank expecting to fight there. He's going to get Blink crushed up, and they know where he is. With the BKB out from him, it means he cannot get stunned. And Alchemist comes into the side, the 2-man concoction into the Earthspike as well. Solo dropping low, they get him the finger, back onto no one. Before the BKB comes out, the buyback from Listo returns into the fight of Kuroki. He's 1 versus 5 here in the mix of things, and Vega will clear him up and force the buyback from the Alch. Well, on the front lines, Mang, he's found mind control. 1 swipe, nope, doesn't get the second one from FN. Look to clear that up, but Slark kills the Thunder, but loses his own life in exchange. Even with the Sun Ray down, they're barely scraping through the no-one DK and finally kill him off as MC returns to the battle. There's the sprout on the Juggernaut, the stun is not coming out just... There we go! Liquid, they've managed to hold on to their racks and their base, but at what cost, Smokepacks? At what cost?
I mean, it's what, just the buyback from Kuro overall? Win in the books for Liquid here, especially with the way that started. I mean, no capitalization on the Shadow Dance really from the way it was kind of forced out as the Alchemist got glimpsed back. Capitalization on their smoke, they didn't really get that positioning. They it almost seemed like the glimpse though for Kuroki, it kind of gave them an option where like they have no idea where I'm coming from because they couldn't be quite certain as to where he got glimpsed back and what path he'd take from there. So that direct, I have to walk up at you from my base, it came in on that back line with that nice double stun on the IO +1. But they're still on the back foot. Just heading right back in for Vega Squadron, but maybe, fortunately for them, it is a little bit of a later spawn, so the Juggernaut as well as the TK will be in full fighting preparation. Go back in towards that fight. And who does he hand this one over to? You gotta imagine it's mind control, right, for the Ags? Unless he really wants to make plays.
I guess it is mind control. I still go back to this Phoenix buying the Ags himself. It still feels a little bit awkward, right?
Especially with no, like, mech. Like some sort of a defensive item, or maybe one of those more classic ones, and like the Shiva's Guide, of course, being picked up by Kuro with the better cooldown with the Octarine makes sense, but the most common item here.
Well, MC with the rest of his team. This is one of the few times the Liquid have actually been pushing towards the enemy base, but it's an exact same situation we had, 2-3 minutes ago, where bottom lane is naturally pushing in. Nature's Prophet isn't dealing with it, and Vega are the ones to leave their base looking for this play aggressively forward. Masu runs into Sioma, looks to drop the stack, always drops to Sioma. He's shredded, but no one's fingered down as well. Liquid might just have won this fight off the back of a great initiation. They've lost 2 and Vega don't have buybacks available. FN, oh man, he can Omnislash, but he blinks himself back defensively. Get out of the fight, retreat, make sure you can tether away the Solar Wisp as well, and you keep yourselves alive, at least for now. But Liquid, they know that this is their time to shine. If any time, it's now to go and push tier 3s and maybe get a lane of racks of your own.
Yeah, man, that was some Heen Dota right there, getting in there. He did end up dying for it, but getting the Earthspike as well as the Hex onto that Dragon Knight. Like, before the BKB come out, he popped the BKB with, like, 100.
Oh, the Omnislash though, Phoenix Supernova doesn't care about that. Man's still alive as well, and FN didn't get enough damage done here. Kuroki still tanking up through all of this. His ultimate finally wears off, but they've taken a full lane of racks and packs. Liquid will be incredibly happy with that turn of events, as buyback status shows us the DK still yet to have his, and Liquid
they don't seem to be going anywhere.
They are not backing up, they are not retreating. DK there for 20 seconds. The glimpse now catches them a target. Kuroki, he is going to have another death on his hands here if he's not careful. But look at the Octarine core keeping it healed up through everything. Effing cannot dish out enough damage. He tries to get in here with a hit and crit, but with the man, he bullies them back off the target of Kuroki's Alchemist, and Vega do not get a kill on what looked like a sure deal.
Oh, but they got done.
Oh, there we go. There we go. Slaughter finds the opening, and Kuroki, a little bit too big for his boots, thought he could get out with a sneaky thing. Now they turn it back again. Metalman looks for the kill back, but Kuroki glimpses into the static storm, kills off Sherman the Slayer, kills the Disruptor, kills the Slaughter. Kuroki's still alive through this all, but Superman fingers down onto the Juggernaut with the help of Heal. And Liquid, from a desperate, devastating situation which looked like Vega might just take this series 2-0, they have brought themselves back in and look like they're going to win off the back of that one team fight.
There's the buyback, but it just didn't be enough. I can't believe it. What an insane display by Liquid, and the way that they just played so many of these fights too, understanding to come back in there when he got glimpsed on Kuroki, you can't ban your Alchemist, right? Metal Man has to come back in, and of course he couldn't made it out, and it was damn close, and they both almost went down for it, but him alive, and once more just the global potential, not only from the Io, but from mind control on the side of Liquid. It'll help out Kuroki when he was in need, so it does appear that they will be taking game number 2, forcing game number 3. I don't think they can save the throne here.
No one tries his hardest. Through that BKB though, Metalman just keeps right-clicking away. The armor toggles look good, but there's just not enough left here for Vega to deal with Liquid. The GGs are called out, and game number 2 will go the way of Liquid here. The Horses beat the Sharks and take it to game number 3. That was close though. Liquid looked like they were on the ropes for a fair amount of that game. It was just the final couple of team fights that Vega didn't feel like any massive slip-ups. It was just a little bit of cockiness. Yeah,
man, Heen just huge at the end too. He didn't really have an opportunity to shine game number 1, and for the most part of this game too. Just kind of right